Yo, what's up? What's up, guys? So this one is agents through a writer's perspective. I'm gonna call myself a writer for half a second, which I'm really not. But even though I wrote 14 scripts, but this is my view of agents. I'm gonna make some new points in here. This is my view of agents from having lived with an agent for 20 years. Okay, so thank you, Jace, for bringing this shit up so that I can talk about this shit because it made me think of some new shit and reminders. Reminder. Okay, so agents, they're not looking. Their job. A lot of brand new writers who are quarter finaling think an agent's job is to break new writers. That's not their job. And when you're talking about sort of veteran agents, they've already built their brand up, their brand. They already have their roster, of fantastic writers. They've already thinned that roster down to be very tight. These people are not idiots, okay? And so when you're at that level, why would you take on someone brand new? You've already been doing it for 15 years and you have a huge roster. Why would you give a fuck about a quarterfinalist? You see, I don't know if writers get this. When you're at that level, you're so high up there that there's no reason for you to think about this stuff. Quarterfinaling, contest, all this kind of bullshit. Like, you're focused on your whole roster of trying to put everybody to work. Everybody's doing big shit. Everyone in your roster is doing big shit, or you're gonna cut them. Okay? And a lot of them they've had for years. So that's what they're focused on, those agents. Or they're focused on, if I want a new client, I'm gonna poach. I'm not gonna go look for a brand new person to break, because agents are like, I don't do that anymore. I used to when I was a little kid, but I don't do that shit anymore. If I want someone, I'm gonna go poach somebody. Like what? Like M. Night Shyamalan, for example. Hopefully no one watches my shit. So I do know an agent that grabbed him and felt like I can rebuild his career, and we did talk about it. That's all I'm really going to say about that. But I could see why that agent would want to grab him, you know, you know, maybe this is widely known, so I don't need to like edit this. He was kind of floundering for a bit, right? And so another agent stepped in and said, I think I can try to help him get on back on track, is the point. He's a very talented guy, so I think I can try to help him get back on track. And when you think about Sherry's had people poached from her, big clients, for example. The biggest one, the biggest client by the biggest agent. So there was no winning that battle. That's the point there. So when that's what's going on, your biggest client is being poached by the biggest agent in the world, and you think, let me stop and think about fucking quarterfinaling. Are you crazy? That's not what they're thinking at that moment. They're thinking like, how do I try to save this client? And how do I know this shit? Because I tried to help her save that client. This is why these arguments of like a quarterfinal, all this kind of bullshit. I don't give a fuck, dude. So, and that's another thing is agents will poach internally as well. Reminder, They'll poach internally, and I saw it with a particular agent, and I'm like, you got to watch out for that person because I can see them trying to maneuver with that client and trying to get in first position and then cut you off, and then I rep them. Like, this is shit that fucking happens in real life. This is the industry, bro. And people say he doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. Okay, whatever, man. Let me point out this. Like, I've spent a lot of different chapter now. I spent a lot of hours in Sherry's office, and I actually designed it, so to speak. Like, she asked me, what should it be? I'm like, this, that, whatever. You see why, right? But that's not the point. She picked this out. Picture, I've never said this, a picture of a big dollar sign. Think about it. I forget who it was by. Andy Warhol, maybe? I don't know. I forget. But think about that. Agents are constantly thinking about money. Agents are going into, their day. What is their day like? Like, it's a bunch of staff meetings. It's a bunch of like client calls, all this kind of stuff. And then trying to fit in reading wherever they can. I know now it's all AI, but sidebar, Sherry, by the way, if anybody was watching this that was repped by Sherry, she read every single fucking word of your material. Every single fucking word. Promise you. Okay? I know that. And that's one thing I highly respect about her, is that she was a real agent, where she's going to read your shit. You know what I mean? If she says she will. And for young agents, I would say, have some respect for the fucking art, bro. Actually read the thing like real agents did throughout the industry. But going back to money, understand that, like, and what is that? Is that caring about money over the quality? No, but it is a reminder constantly, for her in her face, that I'm trying to make the most money for these clients, and trying to make them the biggest in the world. It's not fun. It's not a fucking game. It's not a contest, bro. Every day I walk in, like, that's her thought. Every day I walk into my office, I sit down, I see a big picture of money. It was kind of, anybody been in her office back in the day? It wasn't just like a dollar bill. It was kind of like multicolored, all this kind of shit. Looked pretty cool, metallic, all this kind of shit. But yeah, a constant reminder of, that's your job, is to make these clients money. Even though you love their work, your main job is to put them to work. So, I guess I'm done there. So I guess my broad point there is, if you think agents are thinking about anything about, that's the story I'm trying to paint here, is they're so busy doing, like, the industry now is everybody saying, I have to do everything on my fucking own. This is another point I wanted to make. If managers have an incredibly hard time getting their shit, I thought of two more things, getting their clients to agents, do you really think, managers are saying that, like, it's almost impossible for me to get my clients to an agent. I got to do everything. I'm packaging this shit myself. Do you think that an agent is gonna really give a fuck about a quarterfinal? What? You don't get the industry then, bro. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry, bro. Okay. The other thing I want to point out is, if you haven't been to the place where, and I'm not even trying to say I'm a fucking big deal because I'm nobody, right, in the industry. And I've never said I was. But it's that hard in the industry where I had to fucking introduce my manager to a big player, to an A-list player, where he said to me, because I said I want to go there to that company, and he said, I can only get to the lower levels. I'm not trying to talk shit on him, whatever. But I said I know the guy. You know what I mean? I know the boss. Do you want me to introduce you? And he's like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. And so I did. I stepped out of the way, and now he has a relationship with that person. I'm the industry is fucking hard. That's my point there. Not me bragging. My point there is that the industry is fucking hard, and you know through the whole thing, I've just always tried to be helpful. And I think that's a key point. I'll shut up right now because I know I'm veering off, but to me that's a key point of the industry is just always try to be fucking helpful. You know what I mean? And it's not helpful to think you're way higher than you are. I know what my level has been. It's been very low, just the very fucking bottom. Okay. But if you haven't broken into that and you don't have 20 fucking years of living with an agent and talking to an agent every single day and helping them every single day when they come to you with the problems about this deal and that deal and this person and that person, and they're always on the phone like this, that's an agent's day, just fucking chaos. I'm on the phone, like I'm emailing, that's their fucking day. So no, they do not have time to give a fuck about a quarterfinalist. Bye bye.